All right, what's going on? What's going on? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Having a couple technical difficulties this morning, but we in here. All right, so let's see what we're looking at. Do a quick little run through of my watch list. I have to knock this sound check out. All right, sounds good. Hold on. See, my music isn't coming through. It's not quite the way I wanted to do it, but it is what it is. All right, so we can see NQ. Oh, I gotta. Right. We can see NQ hung around mostly. It was trading sideways in the neutral zone until during the London session, and then we started to see some sell-off. Now we're ranging again between 13,100 and 1350. A whole heap of volume right here around 165. Between, I say 165 and roughly 172-ish. Alright, that should be interesting to see where we go from there. See how the rest, matter of fact, yeah. Look at that daily later. Let's get taking a quick glance at the other indices. Last week we did get a mechanical reversal off our 200. Each product kind of did their own thing around the 200, but they all more or less reversed around the 200. And since it's on my mind, I'm gonna look at, so NQ didn't quite make it there, but naturally these are different, so it's probably the same thing with NQ. Nothing different to point out there. Same sentiment, just a little bit different of a reference to their power range levels for RTY, but it's the same structure. I would expect something similar with YM. Yep, same thing with YM. So anybody who hasn't realized this already, usually ES and NQ kind of look at these like as partners. So like ES and NQ is kind of like partners in the index category, and then RTY and YM, they usually trade along with each other as well. But sometimes NQ just does its own thing, or one of them will just do their own thing. And either if it's NQ, typically it'll lead the way for the others. And then sometimes, the others can pull NQ into whatever they're doing. All right, so I think I've looked at everything I need to look at there. From a daily perspective, nothing interesting from the rest of my watch list. If I can stop clicking around too much. Let's go back to CL. Intraday, we got a strong sell-off during the pre-market, or during after 8 for CL. I know oil was in the news a lot lately over the weekend and last week. So it looks like they're picking up some sell energy, but back into support around PR -2. hanging inside of a daily range, so nothing really to point out or to put a pin on there. Nice steady sell-off for GC since the Asian hours. Getting some retracement back to PR -4. Still have a lot of pivot points above it. If it, it looks like it wants to reverse here, but it can definitely go higher. But it has a little bit to fight through. So you see it's back at daily support after selling off pretty heavily last week. It looks similar to the indices, to NQ, or I would say this is more like YM. Now we're ranging between PR -2 and PR -3. Even though we've broken below PR -3, but just as a quick reference focal point. That's just to get a quick feel of the market. I redirect my focus back to NQ. And make sure I'm ready on my end. Other than that, I don't think anything like big is going on, other than people are talking about what's that thing called? It must not be that important because I forgot the name of it. But with the Fed and their little meeting this week on Friday. The highlight that I saw, I think that was this morning, was what Powell was going to say around 10 a.m. on Friday. But other than that, let's just go look at the calendar. We got a couple normal things. Today we don't have anything significant on the calendar from what I look at. Tomorrow, new home sales at 10. There's a lot going on around 10 o'clock throughout the week. So tomorrow there's new home sales. And then pending home sales on Wednesday after the 8:30 durable goods. Then we got initial jobless claims as usual on Thursday with GDP. May see a little bit of something take place there. And then this PC price index, but also this meeting, but it's something whole. I can't remember the name of it. But maybe I posted on Twitter or something later. This is what everybody's talking about this week, and then earnings, of course. Only thing I care about with earnings is if it brings in some volatility during my trading time. Those that use the markets, they use these different news and these different economic opportunities to, get some liquidity going and get price moving. Jumped to 30-minute ATR is 24.82 and climbing. Of course, from a Delta perspective, we're seeing a lot of red. That's usually going to be in line with our power range perspective. Of course, this is not trading advice, but my bias for my strategy personally has to be short today until proven otherwise. That's really more of like a note to self. As always, I'm about to switch this my view to the normal view. Make your own decisions. Don't follow my trades. Don't copy my trades. If you see me placing a trade, if you decide to copy, whatever happens from there is on you. And that's when, you decide to copy anyone, whatever happens from there is on you. So personal accountability is key. So my daily focus, the only goal is to trade the strategy to perfection. Always stick to your strategy. Note to self, the reset quantity is on flat. I need to speak that out loud. Keep that big picture in mind, in sight. Stay fearless. And we are ready to go. Run back through my checklist. Volume, I don't think I mentioned that. Volume is, we're starting to see some energy climb in with the volume. We're back above 100K, which is relative to like what we saw at the beginning of the summer. That's kind of still, I would say that's like average or still kind of low. I will see numbers in my neutral zone spread, the spread that I look at. I will see those numbers higher, typically over the weekend until like around late July and most of August. But we are starting to see some new participation or some increased participation come back in compared to the last couple of weeks. Okay. Oh, forgot to do my pre-market snapshot. Got about a little over 7 minutes to the bell. Just making sure I got all my back office stuff taken care of. Now, one of my social media, the technical difficulty I was having this morning was with social media. I'm gonna have to figure out, it kind of ties into the website, so I'm gonna have to figure out an alternative to that. That's some stuff to do for later. Or a solution. It's like they made an update over the weekend. So far we're just NQ is just holding without a lot of movement inside of that range. We'll see what kind of energy the open brings. I got a 3-minute PLC right above 1360. Right below that 1360 is our main support. Our inventory. I get my terminology together. This back is up and down right before the open. It's kind of interesting. I'm just looking around, seeing if there's anything interesting to point out, and there's really nothing because the momentum has slowed down so much, or the volatility. We haven't really had any real momentum other than that little London session sell-off period. But during the pre-market, we haven't seen much of anything. Not going into this with any expectations. It's gonna, per the strategy, respond to whatever the market gives. Try to stay out of my own way. I have a tendency sometimes it gets a little easy to try to, you have your idea of what you would like the market to do, and then you know mentally you can kind of get stubborn and stuck in that. But that's something that definitely myself, and I'm sure a lot of, and it doesn't matter what, it's just that's something that I've realized as a challenge for trading. I hear a lot of, when I listen to a lot, I hear a lot of people over explaining stuff, and I try not to do that. So give the perspective as is. Just waiting for the open. We got less than 2 minutes. Stand a slight push higher. We are making some higher highs and some higher lows. But we are getting that sell response in our supply at the peak of our supply. Still attempting to push higher. It's about that time that I go silent on the mic, so I can focus and concentrate. This is one thing I was kind of back and forth on actually starting the stream, because there's some things that I want to still want to focus on, but I actually like doing the stream too. It kind of opens up some, like I get ideas and stuff, and a lot of expansion while I'm trading. And then if I'm already streaming, that's easy for me to talk about those things there instead of trying to take a note of it and record a video later. And there we go, here's the open. We're seeing some expected increased volatility, but no real direction yet. Still bouncing around trying to go lower. That did paint a lower low. That's about that time that I go black on the mic.
Position opened. Position closed. Position opened. Position opened. Position closed.
I'm gonna take a little break there because I made two mistakes on both of those trades, and it was just lack of awareness of. This is why I hate like technical difficulties before my thing, because last night, I forgot last week I had one of these charts set on NQ, and then I adjusted all of that, and I was supposed to set it back to MQ, but I forgot one chart, so I had that first trade that I took, I had to immediately kill it because I was way too heavy in for the risk in one of the Leeloo accounts. And then after that, I forgot to reset my quantities, and I ended up going in too heavy in some of the other accounts. So that one I just allowed it to unwind. It wasn't as heavy as the first one, so I didn't have to kill it immediately. But definitely didn't get me. So right now I'm just gonna take a period to regroup and read the price action. Make sure my focus is where it needs to be before I dig this hole even further than it has to be. So right now we're seeing some retracement from that early open sell-off. It's almost like they had to put a narrative around this. We did have it painted similar to what we saw on Friday. So they used that. There's a possibility that narrative could have been used to trap some shorts there. Now we're back at the lows of that pre-market range. Seeing the sell response. Gives us a nice, I'm looking at from a 3-minute perspective, this gives us a nice range between the 90 and roughly 20, which as of right now it appears it eventually could turn into a pennant pattern, but only time will tell. $70 is a new micro supply, so let's see what happens when price gets above 70. Back into our short-term inventory around 55. quick grab of inventory, took it back up to 60. So now we're saying this markdown in price, what some would call a descending channel. Take about 1 more minute of a break for myself, then I'm gonna get back in the trenches. think I may be done for the day. I'm gonna had a rough one today. Just a lot of mistakes that I made on my end, and then like some technical difficulties. See right there, I didn't even reset my quantities like I'm supposed to. Some orders didn't fill, and it was just not the cleanest day at all. So what I need to figure out, I'm just going to do some brainstorm. If I had a way to just use resting orders with these multiple accounts, that would be awesome. I mean, I could get there's a local trade copier for Sierra chart that I could use, but I'm not really sure I want to do that one yet. But that would, in terms of just executing, that would make things a lot simpler. So we've seen prices, bouncing around a lot. That tells me that, they're trying to move price to a certain area, but there's not a lot of participation to do it quickly. So they need to get as many orders as they can, so they can move inventory the way they're trying to. So we're still marking down inventory, getting that price as low as they can make it. Right now we're kind of playing around with this previous inventory around 990. Paused at the whole number for a while before we broke down in below 13,000. And more back and forth. That 3-minute perspective turned into a descending channel. With a whole heap of up and down price action. Still marking down price, got a reaction there at 988. If they continue what they've been doing, we will get a push higher before another. I don't want to say this. See, I'm speculating. I don't like to speculate. But what they've been doing, they've been holding price in a range, and they'll break it higher out of that range, and eventually they'll take prices lower. From certain perspectives, there are perspectives where that could be looked as trapping both sides. Back down to that short-term inventory. I'm feeling the urge to replace the words buy and sell. Analysis wise, I've never really felt that sentiment when, as the way that I read it. Because when prices go up, you need both sides you need a buyer and a seller in order for price to move at all. So we're still in this markdown phase. Again, seeing why I don't like to speculate. Got a little volume gap between 978-ish and 980. Participation. That praying it to continue higher, for continuation higher, which it is going higher, but how high does it go? Also realized that my orders was not being recorded, which is, I got some things to fix. I don't know. I might have to do maybe a test run later. Nice little response there at 990. I did pull the trigger, but I only got a scalp out of it, so I'm definitely done for the rest of the day now. And then just the way that executed caught a little bit of slippage. This is gonna be a small red day for me. Like we're trying to make our way back to 990. This is the ceiling that we have to break through, just because the response that we got there before. This is why price is stalling. That is an area of interest for some participant. Back at 990, price is stalling. When it caught some more orders. At some point today, the way this is trading, again, not liking to speculate, at some point today, I wouldn't be surprised if we have what I call a, sell to market, where we have a bull rally, just by the way that this is trading. I'm just seeing a lot of inventory collection, but they're getting inventory and they're dumping it. This is where we're seeing these supply dips. So right there, the way I read that, above 984. Well, so it's like so many different perspectives that I can see. So here's one. 976, we started collecting some inventory. Took price up to 990. Grabbed a little bit more inventory around 988-ish, 984. And then we completely dumped supply to take us back to 980. And now we're stalling once again. So that's one. Earlier I did mention that there could be not enough participation for them to do what they want to do with price, but there's also the point of where there is so much participation that they have to execute on. And our market makers, if their orders come through, they have to execute on those orders, per the rules. So as the, whatever, how they, their rules are set for how they have to execute on the orders. So seeing all these orders come in, well, where are we at volume right now? So for M and Q, we're above 560 2,000 in terms of total traded today, total transactions today. So they had to go and just grab all of these orders because they were there. So they had to do something with them. And this is kind of, but then there's also the point of where we saw prices jump like several points within the matter of microseconds. So that's a lack of orders between where, you know, those 2 points where it was moving, if that makes sense. And on that note, go ahead and call it a day. Yeah, I get all those other numbers. I gotta do all my back office stuff. Hope y'all having a good one out there. Hope y'all, you know, y'all strategies and all that stuff is going well. We have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you on Friday. Trade it easy.